Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday morning. We're back with another massive show to bring you guys today. But before we jump into that, please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get straight on into it. On the show this morning, we are going to be talking a little bit about Chelsea stealing one of Dan Ashworth's #1 targets. We'll be getting into that. Also, we'll be talking about Champions League concern with apparently, as it stands, as of the point of recording this, fifth side in the Premier League will not be getting Champions League football. So lots and lots to get into on the show this morning. As always, I invite you to have your say on all things Manchester United in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you're feeling. And yeah, let's get straight on into it. So we can confirm that Manchester United have now apparently made an official approach to Newcastle for Dan Ashworth. So that's ongoing at the moment. And, you know, we'll have to wait and see how it materialises. Obviously, Man United don't want to pay the £20 million fee that apparently Newcastle are asking for, which I think is perfectly reasonable. I think it's a stupid amount of money. From what I've seen, Dan Ashworth's paid about 1.5 million per season in wages at Newcastle. They're currently putting him on gardening leave, which means that they have to continue paying him for the remainder of his contract. I think he's got about 20 months left of his contract. So Newcastle are going to have to pay Dan Ashworth around 3 million to effectively do nothing, or they can accept Man United's money and be done with it. So I think this will get ironed out in the next couple of weeks. But Man United's stance is apparently that that they're not going to give him that money. Maybe they'll give him a smaller amount of money, but 20 million I just think is a crazy amount of money for a director of football. It really, really is. But let me know what you guys think about that one in the comment section below. 20 million for Dan Ashworth, yes or no? We did run a poll yesterday on the community section of the channel. So let's have a quick look at that, because I will be really interested to see what the final results were of that poll. So we asked you guys the question last night. The question was, do you think paying £20 million compensation for Dan Ashworth is worth it? This would mean he'd be able to start work immediately. So currently he's been put on gardening leave. He's unable to work at Man United until his gardening period is over. Newcastle have asked for £20 million for him to be able to start work immediately. And I asked you guys the question. Over 1,000 of you voted on the community section of the channel. 63% of you said yes, they do think paying £20 million now is worth it to get him starting immediately. And the other 37% say no, I don't think it's worth it. I'll be honest, I don't want to sit on the fence, but I'm somewhere in the middle. I think if you could do it for somewhere around 10, I think that would be more realistic. I think 20 million is a lot of money for a director of football, but I do, on the other hand, appreciate that the difference he'll be able to make to us will be like light and day, So it's a difficult one to answer, isn't it? I just, 20 million for a staff member is crazy. Does that mean we're going to have to pay 20 million for a head of recruitment? Are we then going to have to pay 20 million for the scouts? I mean, probably not, but, there is always the potential that once a club like us open the door to these types of things, every time we want to employ a new person, the club that they're at might say, "Oh, we're not letting them go. You've got to give us money for them to go." But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that one. Keeping on the topic of Dan Ashworth, so there is some breaking news that just dropped in the last kind of 10 or so minutes, and it is apparently that Chelsea have just confirmed the signing of. Let me just make sure I get the guy's name right. Just to say, right, this guy is Dan Ashworth's #1 target. So it says Brighton's head of recruitment, Sanjul, has been approached by Chelsea. This was about a week ago, okay? And then in the last couple of minutes, The Athletic here in the UK have confirmed that Brighton's head of recruitment, Sam Jewell, has accepted a job to join Chelsea. We were told that apparently Sam Jewell was Man United's #1 target for the head of recruitment position. It was going to be Dan Ashworth as the director of football, Sam Jewell as the head of recruitment. Obviously, they worked together at Brighton, did really, really well, discovered people like Moises Caicedo, Mitoma, Estupinan, Cucurella. There's so many people they discovered, Evan Ferguson. They were going to come to Manchester United together and kind of hopefully recreate what they did at Brighton. But The Athletic have now confirmed that Man United's #1 target for the head of recruitment position has accepted a job at Chelsea. I think that's pretty disappointing, to be honest, but I'm confident that Dan Ashworth will be able to find someone else. I'm confident that Dan Ashworth will be able to, be able to get someone else of a similar level. But yeah, the Athletic have literally, this was in the last half an hour, have confirmed that he has now accepted that position and he is going to go to Chelsea. So let me know what you guys think about that one. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'd never really heard of him before about a week ago, but I mean, I'm not like an expert in directors of footballs and head of recruitments. So David Ornstein has said Brighton's head of recruitment, Sam Jewell, has accepted an offer from Chelsea in senior multi-club role. It says the 34-year-old has been placed on gardening leave, expected to start at Chelsea in November. He'll report to Stewart and Winstanley at Chelsea, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's done. He's not going to come to Manchester United. Not much we can do about that. You know, we're a little bit behind where Chelsea are in the sense of being able to offer people jobs. Like, we haven't even got Dan Ashworth yet. So I think it would have been a bit premature to bring in Dan Ashworth's primary head of recruitment target when Dan Ashworth might not even be able to come because Man United might not be willing to pay the money they want, you know? So it is what it is. But if anybody has any other options, let me know. You know, if there's somebody you want to bring in as the head of recruitment, please do let me know. I would still quite like Paul Mitchell to be the head of recruitment, but for whatever reason that hasn't happened. For some reason, I think he's maybe looking at moving somewhere else. I saw Paul Mitchell, but yeah, I don't know. Obviously, we have to trust what Jim Ratcliffe's doing because I think he has done pretty good. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Stephanie says, I heard Dan Ashworth's salary would be 10 million a year if he comes to United. Is that true? I mean, if that's true, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. 10 million a year, that can't be true. That has to be made up. He's earning 1.5 million a year at Newcastle. I would expect us to double his wages to maybe somewhere around 3. 10 million a season. I think that's like 250 grand a week. He'd be being paid more than most of our players. I don't think that can be true, to be honest. I don't know where you've heard that. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with that one. Moving on to the story about the Champions League. Now, I know a lot of people are really relying on the fact that fifth will get top four, will get Champions League, because that's what we've kind of been, leaning on. So they have put out, this has come out from the Champions League's official website, and it shows a point system. And as it stands, as of today, fifth place in the Premier League will not get Champions League qualification. At the moment, Italy and Germany are set to get the spots based on their team's European performance. Obviously, things can change, We need, ultimately, the German teams and the Italian teams to not do well in Europe. We need, Bayern Munich to go out. We need Leipzig to go out. We need Frankfurt to go out. And we need teams like West Ham, Aston Villa, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. We need all of those teams to do well. We need all of those teams to progress and hopefully one of them to win it. Now, I never thought I'd be sat here saying, I hope Arsenal win the Champions League or I hope Liverpool win the Europa League. But if we want any hope of getting Champions League football, I mean, we could still get top four, I guess, still mathematically. But the chances of us getting fifth place is way easier. We're only, I think, 3 points off Tottenham now, whereas I think we're about 5 points off Aston Villa, which, we still could reach that. If we keep winning matches, we still could get fourth place. But I think knowing that fifth place is Champions League is a lot more easy for me in my head to kind of accept. So as it stands, as of today, if the season was to finish right now, fifth place wouldn't get Champions League football, but obviously the season doesn't finish now. There's so many games left to play. There's so much opportunity for our, the UK clubs in Europe to go and win things and to progress. So hopefully that happens. Because at the moment we are in a position where we would not get Champions League football, which is a bit of a shame really, isn't it? But there's not really much we can do about it. Obviously it's out of our hands. We got knocked out of the Champions League. We messed up big time there really, didn't we? But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think we'll finish fifth? Do you think we'll finish fourth, sixth? Let me know. I think we can finish fifth, definitely. I do. I think we can finish fifth. I just think that fourth might be a little bit of a push because obviously we don't play Tottenham again and we don't play Aston Villa again. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but hopefully we can do it. We're in a good run of form. We've won 4 games in the Premier League in a row. I'm pretty hopeful we'll beat Fulham on the weekend. I think then we've got, is it Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, and then I think it's the Manchester Derby, I think, after that, which obviously is going to be a difficult game. So we've got Fulham on the weekend, then we've got Nottingham Forest in the 5th round of the FA Cup, then Man City away, and then Everton at home and Sheffield United at home. I honestly think that we could beat Fulham, beat Everton, beat Sheffield United, and maybe draw against Man City. That would be, what would that be, 10 points out of a possible 12. I mean, that would be really, really good, and I would expect teams like Tottenham and Aston Villa to drop points in that period as well, because we know that, especially Aston Villa, they go from being really good to really bad. Just having a look at Aston Villa's performances. So they got Nottingham Forest at home on the weekend. I mean, I'd imagine they'll beat Nottingham Forest. Then they've got Luton away, which I think will be difficult for them. We saw how much we struggled against Luton. Arsenal got a last-minute winner against Luton, didn't they? Liverpool struggled against Luton. Newcastle drew against Luton. Brighton lost 4-0 to Luton. So I think that'll be a difficult game for Aston Villa. Then they play Tottenham, which is obviously a massive game. I guess in that game, you probably hope for a draw, a point each, and us to win that weekend, maybe. Then they play West Ham away. I think West Ham are going to get better over the next kind of coming days and weeks. Then they've got Man City away. I honestly think we can get 5th place. I'm pretty confident of it. It's just whether the 5th place will actually get us Champions League football. That's what we need to work out and to see, really, don't we? But yeah, I think it is in our grasp. We have to remember that Aston Villa are in Europe still, so they're going to be playing 2 games a week. We're going to have 1 game a week effectively. And for me, there's no excuses. You've got to go and get 5th or 4th place now, because Champions League football is the bare minimum for a club like Manchester United. Yeah, it really, really is. But let me know what you guys think about that one. But let's see what else we've got planned for. Right, okay, cool. So yeah, we've talked about Dan Ashworth. Hopefully we get some sort of resolution on Dan Ashworth in the next couple of days, because I'm getting a little bit bored of it now. We really need him to come in, and we need to be able to make sure we pay a good amount of money. Now, there's a journalist this afternoon who, I mean, I don't know where these journalists get these stories from, but yeah, his name's Jacques Talbot. He reports for The Times, The Guardian, a couple of other, reputable newspapers here in the UK. And he is reporting that Man United will spend heavily this summer. It says the club remain very keen on signing Frankie de Jong and Harry Kane. Frankie de Jong, maybe, throw that name in there. I think that sounds believable. But on what planet are we going to now sign Harry Kane? Like, I just don't understand where these journalists get these stories from. Frankie de Jong, I could put out a story on Twitter saying Man United are interested in Frankie de Jong with no kind of source or whatever, and people wouldn't be surprised. But if I put up on Twitter that Man United want to sign Harry Kane, people would be like, what? Bayern Munich just paid 100 million for him. Why the hell would Man United now go and sign him? I just think it's stupid. Yeah, I think Man United will need to spend heavy this summer. But they'll also need to sell a lot of players as well. I think that's the bit of the story that's missing. I think it's not just going to be a case of us spending 200 million and selling nobody. We're going to have to sell probably 100 million's worth of players, I think, and then maybe have a total budget of about 200. Yeah, moving over to Eric Ramsey, who is the assistant coach at Manchester United. Apparently, MLS side Minnesota United are optimistic to get the deal done in order to appoint Manchester United assistant coach Eric Ramsey as their new manager. You know what? I wish him all the best. I don't think he's very good personally. He was the set piece coach for years, and we've always been terrible at set pieces. But I wish him all the best. Fair play. He's going off to the MLS. He's becoming a manager. I wish him all the best. And I'm glad that he's gone, to be honest. There's a little bit of a funny story I want to throw in here quickly. So Plettygoal on Twitter, Florian Pletterberg, was reporting last night that apparently Bayern Munich are considering sacking Thomas Tuchel and bringing in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a potential interim manager. I mean, if that happens, that would be the most mental thing ever, wouldn't it? Comes to Man United as the interim manager, 4 or 5 years ago, manages to keep the job, gets sacked, hasn't had a job for about 2-3 years, and then ends up as the Bayern Munich manager. That would be mad. I'll be honest with you guys though, right? Whilst all this stuff has been happening with Thomas Tuchel, I keep thinking that I can see Erik ten Hag at Bayern Munich. I don't know why. I just have this feeling. Obviously, he was the under-21s coach there when Pep was there. I don't know. It's a feeling that I don't want to feel, but I just have this feeling that I can just see Erik ten Hag at Bayern Munich and Erik ten Hag going there and doing really well. And then us appointing someone like Graham Potter. I just have this feeling it's going to happen. I don't know why. I can't pinpoint it. I just maybe I'm going crazy, but yeah. Let's see what people are saying in the chat quickly. Stephanie says, normally 70 points gets top 4, so we need 26 points minimum from the remaining 36 games. So what's that? About, I would say, 9, 18, 27. So we probably need to win about 9 more games, don't we? Yeah, I think we need to win about 9 more games effectively to get top 4 out of a possible 14 games. I think we can do it. I could see us winning 9 and losing 5 and getting top 4. Like, I could genuinely see that happening. Right, what else have we got? Romano says, if our players start passing and stop kicking the ball upfield and constantly losing the ball and feed our strikers, we could definitely finish 4th. Yeah, I agree with that, mate. I just don't think they will do that personally. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I've gone through everything we had planned for today's show. I will be back this evening at 6 o'clock, hopefully with a bit more to talk about. And so have a great day, everybody. I'll speak to you all a bit later. Please don't forget to like the video before you go. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all later.